My name is Bob Jezerum. I'm a resident of Rye, have lived here for 22 years, and we're standing in front of what used to be Sanders Point with that historic marker, and in front of us used to be a parking lot that was available to the public, and as far as we can tell, it's been here for hundreds of years. On Halloween, in a 2-day period, this was taken away from the public. We have tall bushes here that block a view of what used to be a beautiful, beautiful ocean front view of Little Harbor and the ocean beyond it. And we have a fence. And all this is meant to stop public access. And it was done in a 2-day period with the cooperation, I guess, of the town of Rye.
Whether or not the public or others have prescriptive rights, which WBT-SCC is obstructing by installing a fence at Sanders Point, is a private matter to be adjudicated between those who believe such a right exists and the WBT-SCC. If there is a private litigation over this matter, the selectmen reserve the right to intervene if it is in the best interest of the town.
Somehow this has been just rubber stamped by the town to go through against the public interest of the state. And now we're being forced to go to court to tie up our overburdened courts with something that could have prevented. And we're going to take years to get rid of this fence unless the selectmen change their minds and revoke this building permit, which is, the building permit is written farcically. I mean, you say you give permission to build a fence, at the same time you say there may be prescriptive rights. You're hiding behind what your town attorney is telling you to do, and you're doing the bidding of the richest person in town, or one of the richest people in town, and it's just wrong.
Private matter when the town itself is in the best position to speak for the citizens is I think, just wrong. And I think it's easier now for the town to say, we made a mistake in issuing the permit and withdraw it, than it is to have the citizens go through court and adjudicate it when it really should be the town that's protecting the public interest. It just boggles my mind that you've taken this stance. I assure you, I absolutely assure you, that if an average citizen came to you and asked you, they wanted to fence in an area that was used by the public for parking and viewing and access, that was controlled by the town with parking signs, a fenced off area from the adjacent property, a concrete perimeter on that that's graded, and I know what you would tell me. You're going to have to show us that you have a right to fence that off. That's what you would do. I know that. But that's not what was done here.
But given the statements that have been made besmirching the Wentworth's character, I'd just like to say a few things. The Wentworth really prides itself on being a good and responsible citizen and a good neighbor.
Through these bushes now just to show what has been taken away. But if I can, I've never tried this before. It's impossible to get through here. Well, I made it.
It is categorically untrue that the Wentworth has blocked access to the beach. There is an access point to the beach a short distance from the point where that we're discussing.
We're standing here at the opening that was offered to us at their pleasure, so it could be offered and the offer can be withdrawn anytime they want, because this is not a public access point, really. You can see that we're 200 feet away from what used to be Sanders Point, and if we walk through here,
Mr. King, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
There was a quote in the paper today, perhaps a misquote, of Bill Binney saying that there was access to the shoreline 20 to 30 feet away from the fence. And you just mentioned that there is access to the shoreline a short distance away.
That's correct.
Where is the access within 20 to 30 feet of the fence, and why can't that be established? I don't see it now out there because there's a bank and it's heavily vegetated, but there could very easily be a walkway that goes down to the water that is located on the Newcastle side of the end of the fence that would seem to provide access to the water and seem to comply with Wentworth's stated needs. Where's the access?
It's a misstatement of fact in today's paper that it's 20 to 30 feet away, and I would defer to the golf course superintendent, Jason Bastille, to say where that access is.
Without measuring it exactly, it's not that far off. Perhaps it could be maybe 60 feet from that location. Without measuring, I don't know for sure, but it's nearby.
There's an asphalt parking lot that is adjacent to the home that is just, let's call that east of the fence. Is it on the other side, the Newcastle side of that asphalt parking lot, or on the Wentworth by the seaside of that asphalt parking lot?
It would be the Wentworth by the seaside.
But there's no cleared walkway.
It's an opening in the fence, a 10-foot opening.
But it's blocked by vegetation.
No, it's not.
Oh. I didn't see that when I went out there this morning.
The general
I must
manager
have
of the
missed
club,
it.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
The general manager of the club, Robert Diodati, is also here, and he's shaking and nodding his head, so do you have something?
Yes, Mr. Musselman, if you go down Wentworth Road from Rye towards Newcastle, it's before Sanders Point by probably 60 feet. And it's an unobscured opening in the split rail fence.
That's on the golf course.
Correct.
so you want us taking our dogs across the golf course now where the people are teeing off?
This was a safety issue to keep people.
That was just the opening so you could run the golf cart in and out from Mr. Binney's yard property across the street and enter the golf course.
That's the opening you're talking about?
And you want us across the golf course while people are playing golf in order to get to the beach?
That's in the middle of the golf course, for heaven's sake.
This is laughable. Laughable.
That's ridiculous.
Excuse me, address the chair, please.
That are teeing off on a green.
Isn't that in front of a tee on a par 3?
It is.
So they're just inventing this now. They're just inventing this now. And Mr. Binney has owned that property since the mid-90s. Has been.
But you can't you can't access it there, and that fence was intended to keep people out.
So what we have here on the other side is this used to be a public parking area. That's the old fence that was a golf course bound. So it's obviously public on this side, or it used to be.
Your minutes in 1995 result in the erection by the town of the no overnight parking, and that was placed on the public right-of-way. And there were some other conditions, you might review them, those minutes, but you did erect a town sign on that right-of-way.
The woman complained across the street, I believe her name was Paul, I'm not sure, but she complained and said the campers were staying there overnight.
That's right.
So she came in and she asked us and we said, okay, go ahead, put a sign up, so.
And no campers,
Yeah,
no
right.
campers and no overnight.
camping.
And
What happened to the signs? Didn't they return to the town? Did the town take them down?
I asked DPW to take the signs down. I never followed up to see if they took them down.
There used to be signs at the other end there that said no parking overnight and no campers. And the town sent the Public Works people here to remove those signs at the behest of Wentworth Country Club, which has taken over this property, which has been public property for hundreds of years.
The land use boards. We're going to go back to work and see what if there are other mechanisms here where we can resolve this. It's easily resolvable. Public access to the waterfront can be provided, and there's not a big physical constraint to doing that. But I think we need to work through that and see what leverage all of us can gain. I don't think it's appropriate to have, or even to suggest, public access in front of a golf tee.
This sign is posted, they haven't removed it yet, a warning about golf balls. You know, so they acknowledged the public was coming down through here. You have to cross not one, but two fairways to get to the beach. This is a fairway coming this direction, a par 3 hole, and there's a fairway coming the other way, which is a par 4 hole. And we would have to go over to those steps over there, which would let us down onto the beach. I don't think it's worth taking that walk.